This time I have a Sharp Combo CRT TV VCR. This one's eating tapes, and it was brought in from one of my local viewers to have a look at. This one here looks to be, it has some mechanical problems with it. When you look in the tape compartment, you can see a spring, but I don't think that's what's causing it. I think that was more of an effect other than the cause. So let's see what's wrong with this one and see if we can get this one fixed. I have a Sharp TV VCR Combo. The complaint on this one is that it eats tape, and the fellow said if you look inside the tape compartment you can see what looks to be a spring that's come undone. You guys see it? There's a spring sticking up. You can see it right there. That's probably some of the problem. Let's get the back off this one and see what's going on. Get this one saved. All the screws removed. The back will just lift off. To reveal a tube. The TV circuit is at the back here, and this is the VCR that we need to get out, so we're going to remove the chassis next. Slide the whole thing out. This one's from 1997. It makes it 28 years old. Screws on the back, and be a couple more up near the front to hold the chassis in place. And this whole unit should lift out. There's one on each side, as well as there should be a couple more up at the front. That's if no one's been into it and hasn't replaced them. I see one up front here that needs to come out. That's where these long screwdrivers come in handy. Everybody needs one of these long handled screwdrivers. Now that one appears to be missing. This whole chassis should slide out somehow here. Might be a lock on here as well. I gotta release. Some of them have a little lock tab. You gotta release. And this one, no, it's got one. Is there more screws up front? Chance? Nope, no more screws there. So this should just lift out. Oh, there is one more screw. Looks like there's another screw up front here. Looks like there might be two more screws. Let me get my flashlight and confirm. Maybe not. No, I think those are clear. These cables will just lift out of the way. The speaker plugs, for example, the speaker plugs will unplug. The dowsing coil will unplug. And this should just pull out. Should. You should just lift them up a bit and they'll pull right out. Just like that. Okay, and I'm gonna probably remove the CRT socket and remove this yoke plug so that I get a little more clearance to get the VCR portion out. And we do have limited clearance because we got the high voltage, what we call the Cobra. We have that in the way. So that's kind of restricting how far I can lift this out at the moment. Got some more plugs here for different things. Get them out of the way. That way I can turn this around and get to the part I need to get to, which is the mechanism. And remove a cover, a couple screws here, hold this cover in place, and then I should be able to see what's going on under here, see where what the fault is. The big reveal as to what the problem is coming right up. Is there another screw in here? Of course there's another screw. Yeah. That screw, that spring should not be, no, that's not right. I think that might be why it ate a tape. There's a spring that's just sticking out there doing nothing. Looks like it's part of the spring that returns this guide back. Wonderbar. Looks like this cover will come off here that holds the pinch roller in place. We can lift this off. There might be broken plastic parts. That's what I don't know. This gets pulled out. I know that, but this is the return spring that returns it, and how it ended up like that, I don't know. But it did. That comes out like that. And I can lift this piece off out of the way. Take this off and lift off this. This is the return spring, and it's still springing, but how it got all unwound like that's a good question. I kind of think it probably locked in under that tab there and wound around here and was used to pull back the P6 guide, because it fits into the base of the P6 just like that. And if this is sitting down on here, like, it got bent pretty good. I think it probably hooked in underneath like that, and maybe even went behind this as well, this post here. It got bent pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to be able to save the spring, and I don't know where I would ever get one for it, but we'll see if I can get this thing to go back together and try to tie it in place somehow. As long as it's going to be able to pull this pin back, then it's probably okay. Like, that holds that pin back like that. That probably was locked in around this at one point. I'm going to try to twist it around there just so I can lock it in place, tie it around here, because it's damaged now anyway, so I don't really have to worry about damaging it anymore. But I'd like to keep it out of the way so that it's not going to catch up the tape and at least give me some spring back. Bring it in something like that. See if I can put the mechanism through its paces and just observe what it does. And then of course we'll have to adjust the height of this so that it doesn't chew up tapes. See, the head cleaner is just deteriorated to nothing, so we'll just remove that out of here. One less thing to worry about. Sharp used a lot of springs like this that were custom bent for various things. Just want to make sure that this one's going to work properly. So I guess we'll power the set up. I've got the set connected. I don't have the speaker or anything connected. Let's see what happens when I turn it on. Oh, it's on. And so to eject this, it's just a resistor divider network for the play, stop, and eject button. But to eject, it's a short. We just short the pins together on that connector, and it should eject it. I guess it's stop eject is what it is. Okay, so I got to turn this down because I'm too high. This has got to go down a fair bit. It's playing. I've got a picture. That's one neat thing about having that DVD player there that's kind of black, is that I can see a picture reflecting off of it. Looks like a mirror. So it's working. Just looking at that guide to see how the looks like I'm still, oh, it might be too low now. I can see the tape curling on the bottom edge here. So we look. What I'm adjusting is I'm adjusting the height of that guide, and I want to make sure it's not pulling the tape. And as you can see, the tape is being curled down. So that means that I'm too low. So I have to now raise it up a bit. So we'll stop it, eject it, and I'll just make another adjustment. I'll bring this up a little bit. Still curling a bit, so I'm still a little bit low. So we'll just adjust this up a bit more. Still a little bit on the low side. Uh-oh. Didn't expect that to happen. Well, it ate my tape there, and it appears the reason why is because the pendulum gear did not go all the way over when it went into reverse to turn the take-up spool. Something sticking the pendulum gear, which you guys can't see, but it's right down here. There's a little pendulum gear here. Can you see it? Can I angle it so you guys can see it? It's tough when you got a picture tube in the way. There's a gear here that flips back and forth. There's pendulum gear. As you can see, when you turn the capstan motor one way, it engages to the take-up side. When it goes the other way, it's supposed to flip back, and something is sticking it, because now it goes all the way back. So it might just be some lubrication in here, down in where my finger is pointing, that you guys can't see because the front loading mechanism is in the way. And I'm wondering whether I should take the front loader out or whether I'll create more headaches getting it realigned, because some of these things the alignment is critical on, and I don't want to take parts out if I don't absolutely have to. But I think this pendulum is probably sticking right here on this pivot. So let's just see if I can unstick it. It does spin the take-up side when there's no tape in it. And yet it doesn't when there is. When the cassette is down, if I turn the capstan, you'll see that the pendulum gear moves over to turn the take-up side, but when I turn it the other way, it sticks. If I just give it a bit of a nudge, it goes over, but it's sticking on something. You gotta see what the heck it's sticking on. Something's holding that up. If I just give it a bit of a nudge, it might even be the clutch in here is not got quite enough torque. So maybe we'll pull this piece apart, the pendulum, and take it out and see whether something is loose on it. So I should be able to pop this cut washer off here and lift this this pendulum gear out and see why it's not doing what it's supposed to. There's the cut washer. Should Should be able to lift out the pendulum without having to take anything else apart, I hope. Maybe lift off the spring. Just like that. I don't see anything wrong with it. Nothing broken. Sometimes the plastic will crack and allow the pin to drop down. Of course, there's a spring in here. That's what sets the tension. But I don't see anything cracked on this one. Unless the plastic itself is warped, which is a possibility that it's warped a bit and it's sticking. But I don't see any rub marks or anything on here, so I don't know why this thing's not doing what it's supposed to, but I'll just reinstall it. I pushed this pin up a little bit, and it went up about, maybe a half a millimeter. That might add a little more tension to it. We'll pop it back in. I don't see anything physically broken, so why it's not working is a good question. I mean, it works when it's apart, but why it's not working when there's a tape in it is that's a good question. Don't know. Can't see any reason why. I know it's hard for you guys to see what I'm doing because it's under this mechanism, right? But there's what I was working on right there. See, it's still not making contact. It's still sticking for whatever reason. The pendulum gear is not going back into place, but when I operate it without the cassette in, it's fine, it's turning. You can see it. But when there's a cassette in, it sticks. Right? Like the spring itself was pulled around and in behind here. I think it's catching the top of that when this tries to flip over. It's catching it and preventing it from going into place. Because the pendulum does flip over. Or something's sticking it, but it's right in here. It could be in that spring, or this is what operates the brakes. That's what pulls the brakes back. I'm going to clean this area up, make sure there's no lubricant or anything that's starting to dry up and sticking. I cleaned up the area around here, and I also cleaned inside here, and I took the clutch apart, just pushed the pin through. There's a spring in here which gives it tension. Cleaned that all up. We'll put this back in place. Maybe it's trying to tell me something. That's what it's supposed to do, but it's supposed to do it when the tape is being ejected. That's more like it. That's more like it. Okay, I'm going to load this. I'm going to load and unload this thing multiple times before I put it together, just to make sure that it's going to work every time, but that's what's supposed to happen. So I think the grease and stuff got gummed up, and it was causing it to stick. So I just cleaned it off with isopropyl alcohol. And now it's working. And I think the spring that was broken probably was not the cause of it, but the effect. When the tape got jammed, maybe the guy pulled the tape out and it caught the spring, and then the spring got jammed, and then they tried to load another tape and it all got buggered up. But it seems to be working now. I think it's fixed. I'll put my tape back in again. Check that tape running, see how it's running smooth. Yeah, tape seems to be riding over the guide smoothly. I don't see any tape curling. I'm looking at it here. Might be still just a tad low. Just gonna bring that up one more half turn here. See, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the tape as it exits, and that's looking like it's running pretty smooth and pretty true right here. If this guide is too high or too low, the tape is going to cup one way or the other, and that'll damage either the top or the bottom edge of the tape. So we want to keep it running true, and that's looking pretty good right there. I don't see any curl at all to the tape, so that tells me that the alignment is probably fine. So now I can put this unit back together. Obviously I'll clean the heads while I've got the unit apart, because this is a pain in the ass to take this one apart to do it. I'd clean them anyway, but just so that I can show you guys that I'm actually going to clean the heads, because some people out there, they have trust issues and they don't trust what people say. So if I say I cleaned the heads, they'll say, yeah, but you didn't show us you cleaning the heads, so therefore we don't really believe that you did it. We think that you just told us that. Time to put this one back together. Undo all the plugs again. Undo the CRT socket so that I can get myself some clearance here to put this unit back together. See, these TV VCR combos are always a pain in the ass. Some of them are worse than others. This one isn't as bad as some of them. Some of them are just horrible to do any work on. Saying that, they're all a pain in the ass, right? But see, some are a bigger pain in the ass than others. The screws that go into metal, like this one and the one on the back, these are grounding screws. So this one's grounding this to a metal shield on the bottom. So those ones are the most important ones to get installed. Otherwise you can get interference from the actual TV side of things. I got to make sure that I get the flap on the front. When I slide this deck in, I got to make sure I open the door on the front so that it lines up with this as well. Otherwise we'll have a tape door that's not opening. So we got to do that. We'll turn the chassis around and start to slide it back in. That's why you got to take out all these plugs going to the picture tube, because you need room to spin this thing around in order to open it up and put it back together. So you pretty much have to take these connectors out when you open the setup. Looks like somebody got a video from Videos Galore from 7840 South Elm Place, wherever this came from. 4510444 was their phone number. So I take it this little TV has been around, because OK, Oklahoma. Anyway, that fell out of it, so this machine obviously had some rental tapes in it from somewhere. I guess it's been around the block a few times. So we changed hands more than once. Before I do that, I got to put these plugs in because I can't reach, so I got to pull the stupid chassis again. To do that, I forgot all about that before I put the screws in. I can't reach the plugs at the front. Typical dumb design. Okay, I've got the power and the control plug. The plug's in up here. Pull the whole damn chassis out to get at that. Plug these two in. The other ones I can reach at the back, but these two are the ones that have to go in up front here. One of these is the power switch side of things, and the other one is the control for eject and so forth. There's that one, and then there's this other one here. See, this one had that to hold it out of the way. Okay, back into the little tracks again, and open the door at the front and slide it in place. That should do it. Speaker plugs in down here where it's marked S for speaker. Plug in the tube. Plug in the plugs for the tube. One's for the video, which is up front here. It's keyed, it only goes in one way. I believe it's this way. Okay, that's that one. And then this other one for the screen control and so forth. The bias. And then there's the third one, which is the yoke. And then there's a degaussing circuit that plugs in over here. I think that's got all the plugs back in, so I should be able to turn this thing on now, get a picture and sound, and verify that everything's working. I'll just throw some screws in just to hold it in place right now. A long screwdriver for one that goes in up at the front here. Time to test. And it's got a picture. Forward, play, reverse, and eject. It's fixed. All right, the guy that owns it will be happy. So I'm just gonna throw the back on this one, and I'll say thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.